Sounds good. I'm ready for these questions. That sounds nice to me. Welcome back. Yeah, no, I get that. Welcome back. Well, I've probably learned this over and over again, but when to say I don't know instead of making up an answer. This hasn't happened recently, but when I was younger, I worked at another job and my boss wasn't very nice, and I would try to answer it more out of intimidation, and I should have just said I don't know and said I'll find out. And instead I would just get yelled at. It wasn't terrible, but it's been an important lesson that I use daily. So it's been, hmm yeah. Some people think like, oh, if you say I don't know, they're gonna think you're not knowledgeable. But it's impossible to know all the questions, answers to all the questions. So it's better to be like, yeah, I don't know, but I will find out and let you know. And then you've learned something new, and they see that you're honest. That's right. Unless you're a politician. Yeah. In which case, just waffle. Stop messing around so much. Probably would be that. I had a little too much fun when I was 20. I think I was making up for lost time, but uh, kind of live more in the moment and realize that, I'm getting a great education and need to take that seriously. Not because it's impacted me to date to where I am, but I think it's good to start from a young age to really embrace responsibility and you know learn what your interests are. And I didn't do that fully at that age because I wasn't fully focused, so buckling down would have definitely helped me with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any regrets at this point. it, I had fun. I did learn some life lessons more than lessons from a book, but I did learn. Yeah, yeah, I fortunately didn't get to that point, so I'm glad for that. I mean, nothing wrong with Peter Pan. Oh, it's good. It was definitely the first couple of years in the business um, that were really frustrating and tough. It wasn't that I wanted to go move back home with my parents, but I was feeling like maybe this isn't right for me. Um, what else could I be doing? Because I was like, I really don't want to work a 9 to 5 job. I don't really want to be behind a desk. I want, some freedom and flexibility in my schedule. And I mean, there's other careers that could do that, but ultimately, I work more than 9 to 5. But those first, I'd say, 2 years in the business were probably the toughest, and that was probably because I didn't have great direction as to what I was doing and why I was doing it, whereas now I've got a much clearer, life plan, that kinda helps me know the reasons why I'm doing it and how I do it. Um, so I'm glad I persevered and didn't give up because all those things really helped push me to get me to the point where I am today. Thank you. I'm not as much of a reader as I should be, so it's not a book. I do like Frank Sinatra, especially around the holidays. Um, Otherwise, I like to listen to jazz. I find it's very relaxing. Um, Kind of brings me down. It's got a nice calming effect. I'm not out there like rocking out to jazz or Frank Sinatra in my car. You won't see me belting out the tunes, but I enjoy them. Pretty much, it's either listening to phone calls or listening to music. I'm not a big podcast person, um, just because I don't really take it all in while I'm driving. I'm thinking a million thoughts pretty much all the time. Um, so it doesn't always resonate so well, but music pretty much all the time. It's a good way of kind of slowing down my mind. Um, if I were to look at the odometer on my car for like the trip odometer, it says typically I'm anywhere in the car for between fill ups, and I fill my car up like once a week, anywhere from 15 to 18 hours during the week. So if you do the math, I mean, I'm anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day in the car. Some of that is just being parked, literally like responding to emails or writing contracts or other things. But I spend a lot of time in the car, which is partly why it's so important for me that it's kept clean. Yep, I'm planning to wash it and make it shine. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got a third row, so I can put tiny people in the far back seat. Um, I've put big people back there before, but I heard them complain and they threatened not to give me 5 stars. So we've tried to keep them more in the front. Grand Cherokee, you probably don't have them over on your side of the pond as much. Maybe you've got diplomats who drive them, but very fuel inefficient car. But yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, they do make hybrids. I didn't get that because they don't have a hybrid of this one. Um, but more and more of these vehicles are going electric, which is great. I mean, I wouldn't want to go full electric because obviously, you know, you have to charge every day, which wouldn't be a problem for me coming home. But if I were going on trips and things like that, it would be a little more difficult. But the hybrid would kind of give you the best of both worlds. Yeah, there's a certain amount of miles basically it gives you, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're only going to get better with time. So I mean, I think eventually it's a matter of time before I have an electric vehicle. Well, you know, they have to make like some of them have to make like, they're so quiet, they have to make like artificial noise so that people can hear them. Um, there's an Audi, the e-tron by Audi has some artificial noise. It sounds like a real engine and it has like a, I mean, you know, it's not like really making that, but it's, it's got a distinct sound. Yeah. It'll never be fully gone. Classic cars. Yep. I don't think it matters. I mean, if you're a luxury agent selling multi-million-dollar properties, you probably need to have something nice. You don't want to show up in like a, some junky car. But I don't think it matters. I mean, as long as it's clean, if you have clients in the car, um, it can keep you grounded and tell people, hey, this is just a reminder. I have to work hard to, have nice things. And this car is a reminder of that every day. And it gets me from point A to point B. But I think a lot of people perceive realtors as being all about image and thinking you have to dress to the nines and you have to have a really nice car. And it's not true, but it still is a popular belief. And I think a lot of people in real estate have gotten to the point where they're now embracing, whatever their appearance is. Some of them are like people who look very alternative, right? Like people with dyed hair, a lot of tattoos. I mean, it's no longer what it used to be. And I think that's great because it gives consumers options to work with people who look and act and, are just like them. Um, so it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. And what you drive is just to get you to and from one appointment to the next, as long as it works. Yeah, the white BMW is like the token kind of joke in the real estate memes. No, no, no. I'm good with what I've got. I mean, some people drive pickup trucks. Some people, as long as you can put a client in the car, it's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Any three people dead or alive? It's a tough question. I mean, I kind of feel like it would. I kind of feel like it would be like my grandparents. One of them I never got to meet, but I think it would be great for them to see what I've become. Meet their great grandchildren. Um, it would just be such an interesting dynamic, you know. And I don't think I'd need to meet like any famous person or celebrity. I don't care about that stuff. Um, they're nice to see in concert or at games or what in movies, but I would probably go with like grandparents. Hmm. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like a. I've not really been one to follow any particular person. Um, I just sort of think like there's like don't meet your heroes, they're gonna let you down, whatever the quote is. Like I don't necessarily think I have any like particular heroes beyond like family, right? Like people I've looked up to, but like I don't. For me, I don't think that exists. Certainly, there's people doing great things in this world. Um, I think if it was meeting somebody, it would probably be somebody who'd be able to help me, you know, be more successful in my life, be a better father, be a better husband, something that's gonna, help move me forward, whether it's something on a micro or a macro level. But I don't have any one particular person. Well, I mean, my family has always been really supportive, so I'm grateful for that. It was actually my sister who came up with the idea of, hey, why don't you look into real estate? Um, because of what my experience was from before. And I don't know if I would have came to that conclusion on my own or not, but it was because of her that, I am where I am today, and doing this, and my passion is, very strong. So I would definitely say that my sister inspired me tremendously, and having my parents' support as well has been huge. No, no, nobody else is so foolish. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've seen those. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've seen the memes before where they show like Barbie on her first day and Barbie on her last day, like Barbie today, and it shows like a really wrinkly old Barbie today, and it's like, I feel great, and I'm 25, and it's like real estate's wearing me down. Yeah, yeah. They just look older. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially because I have such a small family, but learn blood is thicker than water. But it's important to have, yeah, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Well, that's good. And thankfully, there's calendar on your phone. You punch that right in there, and you're all good. Yeah. Well, there's probably multiple things I could change about that I would change about the industry if I could. But I think the one thing I would probably make it a higher bar for entry into real estate. Um, there's not a very high threshold for entry, so and some people may think that's not a bad thing, but there's a lot of realtors, and not everybody is able to properly service their clients, and sometimes they're not really representing their best interest. There's no, basic training to be a realtor. It's, hey, study for an exam, take class for certain amount of hours, pass the test, and then affiliate with a brokerage. And then from there, it's like, all right, good luck, go find clients. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So you get people who are just kind of learning as they go, and it's scary. I mean, these people are spending tremendous amounts of money. It's biggest investment of their life, and the folks helping them are not always really suitable to do that. So I think I would change some of the requirements to become a realtor, and which would, in turn minimize the number of folks in the business, but would ultimately create a better level of service. No, because as much as I say certain things, I'm not always the best at practicing them myself every day, because of the amount of discipline required. And I mean, I can dole out advice, but I don't always take my own advice. So I think, be a little bit hypocritical of me. I'm happy to mentor folks and say, listen, I wish I had this when I was just getting into the business. Here's what I would do now, knowing what I know. Um, but I don't think I'd want to start like a school up. Um, but I think it's important to give people the tools and understand the basics. I'd certainly be happy to offer some guidance or assistance. But I have, yeah, and I like it. I mean, it's good to kind of help people get off the ground. They see how you do things, and they don't have to do it the same way, but give them an understanding. Everybody needs a little handholding. So it's nice when you see that person, flourish after, you've worked with them for a little bit and they finally, you know, are are, are able to fly the coop, right? So it's very rewarding in that regard. And it's not something I do for money or anything like that, or it's just that I think it's sort of a rite of passage in our business because, like I said, there's no real formal training. I mean, it's a learn on the job, and if we can impart as much of that wisdom upon others, I think it's important too. So I like to pay it back. Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. Always give a best practices. Okay. It's okay. I can't say I'm ever running on 100%. So it's all good. I mean, yeah. I mean, the base. I mean, this is my 100%. My 100%. It's like the more you use your phone's battery, even though it charges to 100, it's like your battery health is 90%. Like that. That's sort of what it is. I mean, I drink coffee. I mean, go outside, walk around, get some fresh air. I'm not out there, going, today I'm gonna call 100 people. No, I don't, I don't get myself all riled up like that, but I get enough motivation. I'm just an everyman. Yeah, that's me. So just like, hmm yeah. Well, I did a post that that somebody went on a listserv, subscribed that day, posted, "Hey, there's a cat in the neighborhood that I've been seeing, um, and wanted to know who it was." Well, ultimately, we were able to connect the cat with its owner. They thought it was a different cat, which it wasn't, but tabbies all kind of look alike. Um, and so that was great. And I'm still working on trying to hand out flyers in the neighborhood to continue to grow the listserv because I think it's great to have that sort of valuable resource where people can connect because it's so hard to connect now. Everybody's working inside, dealing with kids, family, and so this is a great way for people to actually connect online and offline. Come out and maybe do some events. So I'm excited. It's just going to take me a little bit of time to grow it because I am literally walking door to door. dropping flyers off. So I got about like 10 people to sign up. So from the 50 or 60 I already dropped off. So I feel pretty positive about that. Yeah. So it's not a Facebook group, but I probably should try to like friend people. And but it's through it's called groups.io, and it's been around for just a couple of years, but it really took over once Yahoo got rid of their groups. So um, it's a great platform to message, to post on and do that. You can moderate people or not, it depends what you're looking for. Um, but it's an easy platform to use. I've used it before, so um, I don't mind it. Yeah, I want to be able to organize things, whether we have a neighborhood barbecue or maybe some sort of. I'm hoping like that I can get to enough doors to then promote like, hey, let's do a fall festival. Like I'll rent a moon bounce or something. We can do pumpkin carving, whatever, something that's just really a great event that people go, man, we live in a great neighborhood, and you know, continue to enhance the community we live in. I know people are so busy with their day-to-day lives, they just can't focus on some of these things, but we want them to be like, I come home and my neighborhood's great. I love my neighbors. We do all these events, and they're going to tell their friends about it, and they're going to want to live here. I mean, not that there's enough houses, but we want people to love where they live. And that's part of being a realtor is building community, and I want to help do that here because I've seen it work in other places I've lived, and people don't know it, but they want it because they just don't know that they're missing it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it takes everybody, but just shows you one person can make a small difference. And it's not that hard either. Well, I mean, it's an extremely diverse area, both as far as the people that live here and what we've got available, different career fields. Obviously, we've got the government here, but there's just a lot of opportunity here. And we've got like 12 different seasons of weather. So it's, right when you think summer's over and you're in the fall, it comes back with 90 degrees on an October day. Who doesn't love a little spattering of another season in your current season? So it's great. It's a refresher. Um, but I mean, we've also got tons of great free museums, which not a lot of places can say that. We've got the Smithsonian here in downtown DC, and there's a lot of stuff as far as nature and access to other, areas in general. But we've got a good spattering of culture, arts, history, um, outdoors, sports, all that stuff. I mean, it's sort of really in your backyard. So I think there's the best of all worlds. I mean, it's hard to beat what we've got here. I would say actually one of our favorite places is actually a restaurant. It was my wife and I had our second date there, but it's a place called Buck's Camping and Fishing. There's no camping or fishing done, but it sort of has a rustic outdoorsy feel to it. They literally have like a canoe hanging over in like the rafters above the seats and some other cool stuff. It's just a great ambiance, and I think a lot of people who are kind of DC locals or know the scenes um, know about Bucks. But it's got, on top of just having great food, the ambiance is great. And We love going there. We've been going there for like 10 years. And that's like our spot. But there's so many places. I mean, also if like we want to go on a hike, there's the Billy Goat Trail, which we used to do that before we had kids. I mean, they've got trails that kids can go on, but I can't really take my 2-year-old. Um, but like that's a lot of fun in like the fall when you get to see all the fall foliage. And that goes right along the Potomac River. So you can see into Virginia, but it's a really nice um, trail to go on, and easy to moderate difficulty. It's not terrible. And then you've got the C&O Canal that kind of borders along there, which is the Chesapeake and Ohio. That runs all the way into Georgetown. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. But those are kind of some of the things we like to do. Um, I would tell them, I mean, a couple of the spots are the zoo. The pandas are getting ready to leave here at the end of the year, so see the pandas before they go back to China. That would definitely be one of them. Just be prepared to walk up a hill after you've already walked down it. Um, I think I would probably, what I think is really fun is actually seeing the monuments at night. Years ago, our team went on a nighttime Segway tour of the monuments. Some of the monuments I'd never even been to, even as somebody who's lived here all my life. It's kind of like nobody really like plays tourists in their own city, but um, some of the monuments, I mean, they just look beautiful lit up at night. It's kind of like all the noise of the daytime is gone when you're seeing it at night. Um, so I would say, check out some of those things as well. There's some great new museums. I don't have any one particular favorite though, truth be told, because it's been a while since I've gone, but I always loved the zoo. It has a special place for me because for years when I had my first apartment outside after college, back to the zoo. So um, I could sometimes hear the howler monkeys when I went in the back of the building, which is kind of cool. Like how many people can say they hear howler monkeys. So I used to go there a lot. So for me, I think the zoo like is really a special place. I like the monkeys. I think the monkeys are hard to see because they don't come out all the time, and they actually like the orangutans or maybe the monkeys. They have like not like a rope course, but they have like cables overhead where they can like walk across and do stuff. Um, the monkeys are cool though. I mean, I think the pandas have always been the biggest draw because they've always been kind of rare. Um, but yeah, I mean, probably the pandas. Everyone loves the pandas. Who doesn't love a panda? No, I mean they're funny. They fall down and they roll around like they're goofy and they're cute. It kind of just reminds us as like of being kids. Maybe. I mean the bamboo and I don't know what else. Are they? That wacky tobacco. Sure. Okay. Cool. Oh, thank you.